Hello, Money Queens and listeners. Welcome to Women Behind the Millions. Let's meet the women behind the millionaires, the women supporting, guiding, celebrating women with their wealth. You will hear from women millionaires, how they got there, what they wish they had known, what got them to be a millionaire, the emotional side, the spiritual side, the practical side of wealth. You'll also get to meet the women behind the scenes helping make it happen. Let's dive into Women Behind the Millions. I am Jessica Weaver, your host, best-selling author of 3 books, wealth advisor, and founder of the Women's Wealth Boutique. Let's start meeting the women. Welcome back, Money Queens, to another episode of Women Behind the Millions, where we talk all things power, pink, and prosperity. And if you get anything from tonight's episode, it is this. No matter what age or stage of life you are in, you can always reinvent yourself, claim your money, build your money empire. It does not matter where you are in life. Your time is now, and that is why you are here watching it, right? Divine timing. God has brought you right here to this moment. You'll see on your screen, there's a QR code. You can jump on our newsletter so you never miss an episode and you hear about all of our amazing events throughout the year, including retreats, Times Square billboards, luncheons. We really try to create an experience around women with wealth. And we do it in some fun, creative ways. Well, tonight's guest, as I mentioned, we're going to go into the internal side of wealth. I talk about this a lot where your self-worth reflects your net worth and vice versa. So when your bank account is at a low, how do you feel about yourself? Or your debt's at a new high, how do you feel about yourself? How about when you get that raise, that bonus, or that client finally pay their invoice, how do you feel? Well, if we flip the equation around, I've also found that our self-worth will reflect back into our net worth. So we start to feel better about ourselves. We're going to value ourselves enough to get educated, value ourselves to want to learn more, align with the right people, invest into it, spend some money to grow your wealth, and you're going to create better habits along the way. So tonight we're going to meet with Eleni Anastos. She helps entrepreneurs and C-suite leaders break through money and mindset barriers to create the income, impact, and lifestyle they desire. With extensive experience in business development, training, assessment, and personal development, she offers private coaching and group programs to enhance performance and drive revenue. Clients value her direct style and ability to turn clarity into measurable results. Let's bring her to the stage. Hello, Eleni. How are you tonight?
Hi, it's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
There she is, a money coach, speaker, and author. Amazing. Tell us about your book.
My book is entitled My Reinvented Life, Finding Purpose in the Pain. And I really wrote it to be a guide for others. Everyone has a story. Everyone has dealt with something. And I see so many people, not just in my work, but in life in general, that once they're past a certain age or they've dealt with a negative circumstance, personally or professionally, they kind of take themselves out of the game. Or they think, this is all I've ever done. It's not an option anymore. Game over. And my book is about overcoming trauma and starting again. And I reinvented myself in my 50s. And I started my business in my 50s. So if any woman is listening thinking, you know what, I should just stay on this path. I've been doing this old thing for so long. I'm here to tell you, if you've got that inkling to be, do, or have something more, you can reinvent yourself. And I give a lot of examples in my book of people that have transformed their lives later in life, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. And I also help give people some guidelines as to how they can begin, because we all know change is inevitable. And I think purposeful reinvention is a vital part of navigating that change to move forward.
Yes, and what we stand for, that it's never too late at any point, and don't let that trauma keep you stuck in that trauma, that moment. How do you overcome trauma? What kind of trauma was it, if you don't mind me asking? And then how do you help others?
Well, my trauma, to me, my teaching career ended. I was a public school teacher for many, many years. And it ended the day that I was assaulted by a mob of students and I was physically beat up. I was seriously injured. And it doesn't matter, where it was or even when it was. But I was going through so much physically, mentally, and emotionally, and I was receiving no support. And I do share this in my book. It is my belief that the district staged a cover up because they said the event never happened. So, ladies, if you're listening, I was at home and cut off completely. Lost my house, really struggled. So I know struggle. And I'm not saying that to prove anything, but I just want others to understand that I know what it's like to go through the thick of it. And I'll never forget the moment I was sitting in a chair and I couldn't get excited about the future. And I've always been one that's future focused, like next chapter, I can't wait. Always about creating and reinventing. But I felt so frozen. I went, oh my God, I can't get excited about the future. What does the rest of my life look like? And that was like my internal wake-up call that I've got to do something. Mm-hmm. And that's when I really started to pull myself out of it and, sought the right help and the right things that fit for me. But it was all about regaining that power that I'm still the creator in my life. I can still create a new chapter. Just because everything really was taken away from me, it does not mean I can again.
Wow. What about statement? I'm still the creator in my life. How long from the incident, the horrible, horrific, and I'm so sorry it happened to you. I can't even imagine the fear and the pain you went through. Mm-hmm. From that to the moment when you were sitting in that chair and you were not excited about your future anymore. Can you recall how long that was?
It was almost 2 years.
2 years. It takes time.
Right. The first 2 years, I'll be honest, it was just trying to make sense of it from dealing with doctors, trying to heal my body. First of all, physically wanted to get my life back. I was in constant pain and wearing a neck brace. So, but I think it was about 2 years in and I realized I don't let go because sometimes people stay in the struggle because they want to win. And it's not always about win or lose. Sometimes you just have to let go so you can go on.
What meaning behind all of that you went through too, and to not stay in it. So it took 2 years healing your body. And I mean, those injuries sound very, very serious and take a lot of time and sometimes never fully heal. They're always impacting you from day to day. And then, Eleni, that moment of, I'm not excited about my future anymore. And you mentioned reaching out to people. How did you know what steps to take? Because I feel like a lot of times women, they're in that spot. They know they want better, but they don't know where to go. Who should I talk to about this?
Right. That's exactly it. Well, I started to reflect back on everything I enjoyed doing. And actually, a dear friend of mine kind of gave me another wake-up call because while I was teaching, I also had another business where I was helping small to medium businesses get money when the bank said no. From accounts receivable financing to equipment leasing, but I instinctively helped them holistically. And I loved that. So when I reflected back on everything that I loved, and I was mentioning that to a friend of mine, and he said, well, it's called coaching, you idiot, and people get paid to do it. And I went, well, there's a blinding flash of the obvious. Take time to think about what you really do enjoy doing and what you feel that you are innately good at. And I love helping people, guide people through that because the vast majority of us discount their skills, they discount their experience, and they think this is all ever done. But if you hear nothing else from me today, please know it's not all that you are, and you can reinvent and begin again.
There are a few powerful statements you keep saying. I'm still the creator of my life. Taking that first step, and this is what everybody can do, even if you are fulfilled in your current life, what do you enjoy doing and what are you really good at? Right? How do we tap into that zone of genius? Because so many times women even get stuck at that zone of excellence. I'm making good enough money. Why rock the boat? Why shake things out? But it's a great audit to go through ourselves. And something that really stuck with me is it's not about winning or losing. When people are stuck, they're angry. They want some sort of validation, closure about what's happening, and they keep themselves stuck in that moment. And you took that powerful step out of that trauma to move forward with your life. I mean, beautiful segue into our newest book. I wish I'd known you before so we could have had you be part of it, because it's all about from valley to triumph. We all go through that almost breaking point, a moment in our life, and then how do we transform ourselves through the process of coming out of it? And you've done that. It's just remarkable, and I can't wait to keep talking to you. In life, we all face valleys, moments of pain, challenge, and struggle, but it's what we do in those moments that defines us. She nailed it. Inspiring stories of going from valley to victory brings together powerful women who turned adversity into strength and strength into purpose. Led by Danette Galvis, with chapters from inspiring voices including Terry DeGrande, Erica Butler, Corey Beth Lepowski, Teresa Todd, Catherine Sorensen, Katika Estevez, Christina Good, Denise Sandkamp, Megan McDermott, Kristen Williams, and Jessica Weaver. These stories will inspire you to believe in your own comeback, reminding us all that victory is always possible. She nailed it. Inspiring stories of going from valley to victory. Available now on Amazon. One book, countless stories of hope. Get your copy today. You can go on Amazon now and grab a copy of our newest bestseller at Pink Fix Productions. She nailed it. And here we are with Eleni talking about going through her own trauma and now transforming her life at the age of 50, showing it's never too late, no matter what age or stage of life you are in. I would love to now segue into the current work that you do with women, and you also work with men as well. What tools do you use to help women unleash their inner wealth?
First and foremost, it's helping them get connected to their own worth, because I think women especially are just so used to discounting their natural gifts and abilities. Oh, I'm just going through the motion. I'm just doing what I need to do. Yeah, but not everybody can do that. So helping people first dial into their own worth, literally taking an audit of their skills, experience, and abilities that can be applied in multiple arenas. That I promise you. Because again, too often people allow themselves to be pigeonholed, or they let others speak lack or limitation over them. Oh, why bother? You can't do that. Nobody's successful. No, unless they're paying you, stop letting them rent space in your head.
Simple line.
So, first and foremost, let's take an audit of your own skills and ability and experience. And I promise there are things in there that you're not giving yourself credit for.
I see that with moms all the time. They take a break, they're coming back into the workforce, and they don't realize all this time at home, organizing the household, paying the bills, organizing birthday parties, maybe they're volunteering. That is all amazing experience that they can bring with them.
Yes. And granted, others may discount it, not give you credit for it. Not heard so often, well, you've been nothing but a school teacher. I'm like, honey, you couldn't survive a week, let alone a classroom.
I could not.
We can't let others speak that lack or limitation over us. Mm-hmm. And then two, once you have that audit of your skills, your abilities, let's play. What do you want to do? Because I believe with every fiber of my being, if you've got that little inkling, that little thought that you want to be, do, or have something more in your life, it's there for a reason. So dial that in and get connected to it. And does that mean it's going to be easy or quick? Probably not, but worthwhile without question.
I love that you it's an inkling there for a reason. I just read the book, The Alchemist. I just read it. and it's a tale. It's not very long. There's one part in it, and he talks about when you don't follow your desires, right? That dream, what you were put on earth for. And he talks about a year from now, you're going to think about it again. And this is going to happen. 2 years ago, and you're going to think this way. 3 years, you're going to start to resent your wife. You're going to start, it's going to interfere with your relationships. And seeing how that plays out, you can see that all day long. People get bitter, they get resentful. It's because they're not following their truest self.
Yeah, right. Putting a lid on it and again, I really want to reinforce too, though, if you have a desire to do something else, it doesn't mean anything's wrong with your current life. It doesn't mean career or the job or whether you're currently at home that there's anything wrong with that. But please examine why you have that feeling and explore that to see what you can create in your next chapter.
Yeah, doesn't mean you have to drop everything, all relationships, and move forward. You can see how can I honor it a little bit a day? Make it just a piece of my everyday life, a priority. That's a beautiful way to say it. So it's not so scheme or overwhelming either.
Because reinvention doesn't have to be a whole upheaval. Like you're saying, it could be as simple as adding one daily habit. Just those, I love the saying, small hinges swing big doors. Just start with one thing and see where that takes you. And then you keep adding and adding from there.
What are some hacks you do throughout the day, the week that honor your desires, or that you give yourself space to tune into yourself, listen, see if there's something that you want to embrace?
Yes. Well, first I love journaling because not this big brain. So getting it all out. There's something about not just thinking about it, for me, writing it out. And I have gold cards. I was going to reach for one. I have these all over my desk. And I think it's important to keep that top of mind. So first of all, we're literally just writing it out, but then it should be top of mind. So I'm reading that in the morning. I'm reading it in the middle of the day. It's here on my desk. So I'm glancing at it as a reminder, because all too often, especially women, especially strong women, we can take care of the world. We remind everybody else what they need to do, but we forget to remind ourselves. So I'm very structured that way. And part of that structure for me is my physical fitness, that never gets left to the wayside. Because like so many things, as you mentioned previously, that one thing can be a domino effect. So if you keep putting yourself on the back burner, I love the airplane analogy, the safety speech. And if you're traveling with someone that needs the support, a child, an elderly person, you put the mask on so you're still able to help them. But how many of us, especially strong women, don't even think about it, and they go all in to help someone else, and what's left of them at the end of it?
Yeah, we don't want to be a burden. We don't want to be a burden.
Right.
We're so worried. I'm going to put more work on you, and I already know you have a lot of work. You got a lot of things going with you.
So yeah, schedule in that self-care. Do what matters to you, and I don't believe that there is one size fits all. Everyone talks about morning routines or, different things. There's a lot of good tools out there. But in terms of my overall outlook, first I need to do something that brings me joy every day. And that when I'm out, I have diamonds, little crystal diamonds that I always have with me, and I give them to people. And I with total strangers, and I'll walk up and say, a little gift.
Okay.
And when I give that to them, I ask them to remember what I call their diamond factors. I want everybody to remember this. The diamond is the strongest gemstone, but you don't always have to feel strong to be strong. The diamond is multifaceted. You can do many things. The diamond represents courage and fortitude. And haven't we all been through something? And my favorite, even after you've been put under all that pressure, you can still come out shining brightly.
And it's worth so much. Because of that, you're worth more. because of that refining moment. That is beautiful. What an amazing practice that you do. And you just completely change somebody's day, life, and the ripple effect. Now they're going to think, what could I do for somebody else and be of service to somebody else and getting out of my own world? And as you mentioned, scheduling in your self-care. I do a morning practice, my daily morning money practice. I have it down. It's my evening time. And I realize, why? It's because I'm idolizing watching a show or doing something because I'm so tired. And it's really like reframing that. What's going to give me a better night's sleep? Well, one, I got this new prayer diary. Spending a little bit of time with God is going to give me a much better night's sleep, which is the most important hours of our day, right? To then show up as my best for days like this when I have back-to-back meetings. So it's so hard because there's so many things that we could be doing else.
Yes.
Versus taking that time. Yes. What beautiful. I mean, you have such powerhouse statements all throughout this episode. It's going to be hard to pull which ones out for our social shareables. We're going to take a quick break before we move into our last segment. We're going to talk about what struggles do women face in the 50s and 60s versus 20s and 30s. So stay with us, ladies. Welcome to the Pink Fix Shop, where rebels, trailblazers, and legacy builders find their voice in every sip, stitch, and page. From best-selling teas to manifesting mugs, every item is designed to spark conversation and celebrate your story. Start building your legacy in style, only at pinkfixproductions.com. All right, we are back with Eleni Anastos, and we're going to talk about what struggles do women face, especially around their money in their 50s and 60s. Let's talk about money and reinvention. Let's cover both of those because they're probably similar, I'm going to guess. What do you see women facing?
I see a lot of women that never put themselves in the driver's seat with money. And it doesn't matter if you are single, married, no dependents, or several dependents. So often I see women think that money is this external entity that they just have to deal with. So they don't allow themselves to control it. And it all goes back to the beliefs. We do a lot of work around people's mindset and beliefs with money. And if they grew up, there's never enough to go around, or money's the bad guy, well, no wonder that they're going to be in a struggle. But the good news is you can change your relationship with money at any point in time, 50s, 60s, 70s. It's never too late. That I can promise you. Because once you put yourself in the driver's seat with money, then you have the best chance to own your financial future.
Amen. That control. And as you mentioned in the very beginning, I'm still the creator in my life, right? You still have that power, that control is taking that first moment, that first step. I remember meeting with women going through a divorce, and where typically this is what happened. The men run the finances, the women, they might do the budgeting. So this moment, you being in this meeting with me, you were taking that control back, that power back. And you could feel that shift of energy on them. You're right.
Yes.
It's scary. It might be overwhelming, but when you have somebody that will take you small step by small step, and then before a year goes by and you really got the momentum going, 2 years, 5 years, you're like, wow, I couldn't imagine it being the other way.
And there are so many simple, practical tools. It's not, magical or mystical that can really help turn your financial situation around. And I love that look of empowerment on that client's face, on that person's face, when they realize, oh, I can do this. Because too often I see it being so completely ignored. So I'll ask people, if you want a rich and rewarding relationship with your spouse, with kids, with friends, with clients, don't you have to pay attention to them regularly? So how can you expect to have this rich, rewarding relationship with money if you're too afraid to pay attention to it?
Great analogy. It is so true. You have a relationship with money, whether you give it some TLC or not. And That's going to make a big difference. And we see it sometimes it's painful to look at, so I avoid it. And it gets bigger.
Yes.
And it gets bigger and bigger in your head. As you said before, right? If it's not paying you, don't let it take up space in your head. That's what happens by putting your head in the sand. Amazing. Well, we have one more question for you. Our time has flown by. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
What makes you a woman behind the millions?
What makes you a woman behind the millions?
I love that question. And honestly, it goes right back to owning my worth, knowing that I have the power within me to make it happen. And that also means reaching out for the right support and implementing the right strategies and tools. But it all starts with, I'm enough and I can do this.
I'm enough. I can do this. You got this, ladies. Give you some energy going back into it. Eleni, where can people find you?
Yes. Yes, please reach out. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, elenianastos.com. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Any questions, I'm always happy to engage and be of service to support people.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for spending some time with us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm proud of the work that you're doing. It's just incredible. Thank you for showing up for women and being an advocate for us. Thank you, Money Queens and viewers, listeners, to tuning in. Stay with us because after the show, we have She Nailed It, our newest show produced by Pink Fix Productions with Danette Galvis. We will see you next week for another episode of Women Behind the Millions.
Hey, Money Queens, looking to get your wealth to that next level, 7, 8, 9 figures? Follow us on Instagram at PinkFixMyMoney and at Women's Wealth Boutique for more millionaire money tips.